Welcome to the Global FinTech Fest 2021 podcast series brought to you by IMAI and India FinTech Diaries. I'm your co-host Elroy Sarao. In our latest episode, my co-host Hemant and I are joined by Rajat Sharma, Corporate Vice President, Head of Sales and Strategy, eBowTech. Rajat is a product management geek at heart and has been in various roles in sales, business development, product management, and marketing. Rajat joined eBowTech in 2016 and has been instrumental in growing the Asia business for eBowTech. Rajat also drives the overall go-to-market strategy for key eBowTech products and is playing an important role in transforming eBowTech into a major global platform company for the insurance ecosystem. Prior to eBowTech, Rajat was the Southeast Asia head for HCL, driving new business for the banking and financial services vertical for almost a decade, and also has been part of various early and growth stage startups in India. In today's episode, we caught up with Rajat on key digitization trends in insurance, what it means for the industry, and how eBowTech is helping usher in this change.
Elroy, we are living in interesting times. Times that have forced us all to understand the importance of insurance and have also forced the insurance industry to recognize the importance of going digital. As a result, the industry has been awash with the news of large fintech investment rounds and large digital transformation or innovation projects by incumbents. Looks like the year 2021 will turn out to be the year of insurtechs. As the insurance world undergoes these transformational changes, we thought who better to help us unpack this than the good folks at eBowTech. I am pleased to welcome Rajat Sharma, Corporate Vice President, Global Head of Sales and Marketing, eBowTech Corporation. Welcome to the show, Rajat.
Thanks, Hemant. Pleasure to be here.
Rajat, let's start with a quick introduction of both yourself and eBowTech.
Sure. Elroy, thank you so much again for having me here and giving us a chance to discuss about how we are changing insurance industry API by API. We are not calling this as company by company. We're not calling this as systems by systems. We're calling it as API by API. And that's what kind of defines us as an organization. Quick introduction about myself. You've already introduced me. So my role in eBowTech is I manage the global sales and marketing within eBowTech. So eBowTech within eBowTech is a 20-year-old organization. So we are not a startup. So we've been there for 20 years. We were the first ones to come into existence when the core insurance was running on green screens. Even till date, most of the insurance companies are still running on AS400 based systems, green screens, and the mindset still is very much systems oriented. But 20 years back, we were the first ones to come up and completely disrupt the tech space in the insurance industry. That's where Woody Moe, who's the founder and CEO and the president of the company, so he came up with an idea that can we have a core system which can run on browser, Java-based core systems, right? Rather than plugging into green screens and trying to do those heavy transactions and heavy systems on place. So that is where we came into existence, and since then till now, we've been a disruptor of technology, and we've always kept on changing in terms of how we can change as an organization, how we can change insurance as an industry. So that is where our tagline always was to make insurance easy, as simple as that. And we've been trying to do that from technologies, as a lever. Today, as an organization, we are changing very rapidly within ourselves as well. And 5 years back, we kind of incubated a platform called InsureMO. MO stands for middle office. And the idea was, can eBowTech as an organization, move away from core monolithic systems and have something which is more open for the overall insurance industry, not just carriers, but e-commerce, fintech, banks, auto companies, car dealers, car manufacturers, every single industry which has a single cent to sell insurance, can we help them with a more open API? So that is what we've been doing over the last 5 years.
That sounds pretty interesting, Rajat. I think you call this entire concept connected insurance. Can you help us understand a little more on what is connected insurance?
Look, the definition of connected insurance, I think it has many dimensions to it. But the way we look at it is, can insurance be as seamless as possible? One, people don't go and buy insurance. I don't wake up, one fine day and, go on and start looking at buying insurance, So the concept is you'll have to push insurance. So hence, it has to be very much embedded as part of the transactions that I do on a daily basis as a consumer. I go to e-commerce websites, I buy my groceries, I buy my phones, I buy my electronic equipments, I drive my car on a daily basis. I take my flights, I do my travel, I do my vacations. So every single transaction that I do, that is where insurance companies are trying to embed themselves as part of the overall consumer buying patterns, the way we call it. right? And that is where a lot of technologies, whether you look at artificial intelligence, you look at IoT, all of these technologies are kind of enabling this as a connected insurance, and that is where ecosystems are also coming into play. So our definition of connected insurance is very simple. Again, can we make it as simple as embedding it as part of any transactions that a consumer does, any aspect of his life, so that when he does a transaction, can an insurance be embedded as part of his transactions itself? So for us, that is connected insurance, and that can be in any field. That can be auto, that can be home, that can be health, that can be commercial lines of businesses. So everywhere where we are working with players, we are trying to bring APIs as a mode of that enablement aspect of making that insurance connected through various transactions that a consumer does.
I think that really simplifies connected insurance as a concept for me. And even though I'm not an insurance person, I've actually begun to see some of the key opportunities and use cases that might come out by embedding insurance. Just from your experience, what are some of the key opportunities and use cases you're seeing coming up in the market thanks to this connected insurance trend? And what can insurance companies do to leverage this huge opportunity?
Yeah, so I can talk from Ebotech's perspective. So the way we are looking at the world changing from an insurance perspective. Now, as I said, so our platform is a more open API platform. We are talking of more than 4,000 plus pre-configured products on the platform that you can pick up. You can create your own SKUs, of the products, and then you can offer APIs to anybody and everybody under the sun. Now, what we do is we run that as a platform where we offer APIs. We offer platforms. Somebody wants to build their own applications. They want to build their own use cases. Second, we also run ecosystems, right? So we run an auto and mobility ecosystem, say in China. We are running a broker ecosystem in Thailand. We are trying to build up an e-commerce internet ecosystem in South Asia market. We are already running a huge ecosystem in other parts of the world. So likewise in Europe, likewise in US. So everywhere we are trying to create that ecosystem where we are trying to bring in participants in that particular ecosystem. So for example, if you look at auto and mobility, right? So you need to bring in car dealers, you need to bring in car manufacturers, you need to bring in insurance companies, brokers, you need to even bring in e-commerce at times, spare car dealer players. So everybody coming in and, pitching in their part and using data as an exchange and insurance as an exchange platform is something that we are driving very actively. And these are not just platforms, or these are not just theoretical papers. We are running huge volumes on these platforms. So every single ecosystem that I'm talking of, for example, in Thailand alone, we have more than 100,000 active users, agents or brokers, which are logging onto the platform. We are generating more than, say, 60, 70,000 policies a day. Likewise,
right.
In China, the amount of volumes that we see, one single insurer trying to connect with 100 channels. We've seen on a single peak day, we've issued 64 million policies in 24 hours. So that is the proof point of how we are driving these kind of ecosystems and how they are making their insurance connected for their end consumers.
That's a really powerful way to actually go about getting insurance more embedded and connected. Rajat, one of the things that I've always found that when people try to build ecosystems, they're often very challenging to build those out. So what are some of the challenges that you might have faced in some markets when you actually went about building these ecosystems?
Yeah, great question. So yes, building ecosystems is not easy. It's very easy said than done. People use this word ecosystem very loosely, but the fact is there is a lot of effort that goes behind. One, the most important thing is, is your platform open enough? Is your platform API enabled enough that it can manage and it can exchange data and it can exchange APIs from different kinds of players in that industry? Number one. Second, once you have a platform, the more important aspect is running the operations and bringing these partners on board. So first of all, breaking traditional models is very difficult. So hence, convincing different players to come and be a part of that ecosystem itself takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of convincing for them to come and be a part of it, and so that they can see value, because that breaks monopoly, right? So in the past, we've seen, insurance companies have monopolies or auto dealers have monopolies. So they want to keep their monopolies to themselves. But future, I think somebody who's looking in future, they know that, monopolies don't work. So the only thing that works is partnerships. So the only thing that works is collaboration. So that is where bringing these players together and making that transactions flow through and making that real time, so that everybody gets a value out of it. So those are very challenging stuff that happens to run an ecosystem. So hence, building an ecosystem is not just, a few days or a few months task. It requires a very mature capability, both from a tech perspective as well as from an operations standpoint.
Rather, it's good to touch upon a tech perspective because another key aspect of ecosystems is the fact that the technology that connects various partners also needs to work. And this becomes very difficult, at least from what I've seen from my own experience. Specifically, when partners are on different technology platforms, have different sets of requirements, and on a different levels of maturity. Did you also face similar problems when you went about building ecosystems from a technology perspective?
Oh yes, yes. So insurance industry, I come from a banking, capital markets, insurance. I've seen all three kinds of industries. And I feel insurance is probably the most backward of all the industries. And that goes with the reason that, insurance industry was so comfortable in what they were doing. They never felt the need to change. So banking started
Hmm.
thinking after the digital banking revolution happened, mobile wallets started coming in, now digital, digibanks, neobanks coming in. Insurance companies never actually faced this kind of a competition. So there are insurtechs which are coming in. But the fact is, now there are e-commerce. You look at Tesla, they're talking of
Right.
they don't need an insurance as when you buy a Tesla car. So these kind of players and these kind of statements coming in, insurance industry is now realizing that there is a need for them to change. Now, mindset is the biggest challenge that we see with large traditional players because they run very heavy monolithic core systems, and they are essentially most of the time spaghetti architecture, right? So because they built it over the period
Right.
15, 20 years. So huge amount of integrations, huge amount of spaghetti intermingled. So it's not very easy for them to kind of open that up one fine day. So hence there is a lot of resistance for them to change. That is the biggest challenge that we see for enabling these large digital insurers to kind of open up their mind, open up their APIs, share their data, look beyond just product as an IP. So those are very difficult challenges that you face. Technology, I would still say, is the least challenging thing because there is technology, right? And our technology works, and our technology is working with a $6 billion insurer, and our technology is working for a startup. Our technology is working for one of the largest e-commerce companies in India, right? So
Yeah.
technology is already working. So the biggest change is the mindset for people to kind of change and kind of start probably take a deep dive into this kind of a scenario.
Understood. Understood, Rajat. Rajat, when you spoke about connected insurance, I clearly see there are three parties, main parties involved. You have the manufacturer, you have the pipe which is connecting, and then you have companies who have large distribution plays. And that's what you also brought in, saying there is an ecosystem which can distribute and embed the insurance product within the daily life cycle of a customer. Now, you have really explained us the role that eBow Tech is playing in between this, basically getting all this together and creating a connected insurance. And you also spoke about that there is a lot of change also required at the manufacturer end, and how you are helping that organization or the manufacturer to really do it. Now the question I had is, I see that you have been operating from 2000 and you are operating across 30 countries. So have you seen variations of this problem or acceptance of the problem? How does this vary across geographies, across different countries? Are there some geographical nuances that you also see?
Yeah, there are very clear trends now. When I look at what we are doing in Asia, obviously the acceptance of what we are offering as an open platform, it's quite open. People are very open to adopt new ideas. People are very open to test and try. People are very open for outcome based models. Whereas when you go back to mature countries, I'm talking of US, I'm talking of UK, Western Europe, the factors change is not very easy there. One, because one, it is very highly regulated. Second, their systems are so complex because it's been done over the past years, and they've built a number of applications around that, and SOA and all those kinds of technologies is even kind of complicated things for them to kind of break the barriers that they have from a technology standpoint. There is a clear distinction that we see, and adoption is different, right? So in Asia, we see people are more open to adopting and new ideas and kind of getting sharing stuff. Whereas in US, UK, all the mature countries, security guidelines, encryption scenarios, those things play a very important role. So hence, when we have customers everywhere, so it's not as if we don't have customers in US, we have customers in US, UK, Western Europe, Middle East, Asia Pacific, LATAM, everywhere. But the amount of effort that you have to put in there is a bit higher than what you do in Asian markets.
And Rajat, I really wonder, considering that there are multiple purely digital insurance players that have come into picture across nearly all the geographies and other countries, has that really accelerated the pace at which these incumbent manufacturers of insurance product have become more open to now adopting an open API ecosystem kind of play to really leverage the distribution of the ecosystem to get into the market and try to protect their market share or even increase their market share.
Yes. So, if you look at short term, I don't see that there is a huge impact that digital insurance. When I talk of digital insurance, let's talk about products. So connectivity is one scenario. The products is another angle to digital insurance. We talk of bite size sachet kind of products, right? Fast moving, even long tails. So in short term, many people are trying to do that now. Even traditional insurers are coming back to us, and they've already adopted the platform. Then they are trying to build partnerships with e-commerce, internet companies, etc. But I still don't see the amount of volumes getting generated to kind of maintain a healthy balance sheet for those products. Short term, obviously, that's not going to happen. Over a period of time, long term, that is the play, and that will probably take some time. By the time at the end consumer, this wave ripples down back to the end consumer, this will kind of flip the other side. Probably in the next 5-10 years, we might see a huge amount of volumes from these bite-sized sachet products on a day-to-day consumption. But today, from a large manufacturer perspective, I think they still maintain the market share because they have the channels, they have the agency force, they have the brokers aligned with them, and they, when this comes to large traditional products, life, unit linked, investment linked products, traditional term life kind of products, motor insurance, so they still have a monopoly in terms of how they are kind of working with the brokers out there. So they are still very kind of comfortable there. They're trying to do stuff, at least out of 5 out of 10 traditional large players that we've been talking, everybody wants to do something around digital insurance. And what they are doing is they're kind of adopting a 2-core model or a 2-speed model where they're keeping their traditional legacy back office intact, and they're trying to build a more digital layer on top of it so that can take care of that innovation on the digital side. So I think over a period of time, long term, I see a huge value. Somebody who's taking some steps right now and they're trying to build upon it, they'll probably grow. But short term, in the next 1 to 2 years, I think it's all about experimentation and figuring out, what works, what doesn't work. But volumes, I don't see a huge volume right now that somebody can say that, okay, fine, if we are making huge numbers or huge profits on these kind of products.
Understood. So then it clearly looks like that right now they are doing a 2-speed model where one, they are focused on protecting the turf that they're really good at, but then they're also doing another speed where they're transforming themselves and making themselves ready for the digital insurance age. And that's where exactly I have a question, Rajat, that I went through the details of eBowTech, and there are multiple products and multiple offering which are basically helping even the traditional manufacturers to really step into this digital insurance age. So I would like to request your help for us to really understand what are the different offerings that eBowTech has through which it is supporting all the stakeholders, because I see it's for brokers, there is also something for manufacturers and all. So if you can just lay it out for us.
We are also transforming as an organization, as I told you earlier, right? But right now, we are targeting everybody and anybody, who has policy to sell on insurance or a use case to sell on insurance. Now, whether these are large traditional core insurance companies, or these are traditional brokers, or these are digital brokers, or these are internet companies or mobile wallets, or any kind of internet company. So we have something or the other that offers anything that they want to try out with the platform perspective. The way we've broken our offerings down is kind of into 2 scenarios. One is kind of a SaaS based offering, which is software as a service offering. Another is a PaaS, platform as a service offering. Now, it depends on what kind of a mindset, what kind of a requirement that an organization has. So when people are looking at applications, when they are looking at a full UI UX workflow to be given to them so that they can run their back office operations, right? So they still need a claim portal, right? They still need somewhere they can do their underwriting. They still need some application where they can run their reinsurance, right? So we offer them SaaS applications, which are again powered by our middleware, which is Insurmo. Second, what we also do is we also offer open API platform, which is Insurmo as a pure PaaS platform, wherein they can use this platform and they can build whatever they need. Now, we are also seeing a lot of software companies, lot of ISVs who come to us, and they are trying to leverage this platform and build their own applications or enhance their own applications for the insurance industry, right? So we see chatbot startups, right? We are seeing a lot of companies in the artificial intelligence, machine learning space. We are seeing a lot of companies which are trying to do claim automation. So various software companies which have use cases around software or applications around software, they kind of use this open API platform, which come with a more developer open mindset, which uses platform APIs, and they build stuff on their own. And the other side, SaaS-based applications are already there. Somebody wants to have a full core system on cloud. We still offer that as well. That probably is a bit more heavier in terms of implementation. It requires more time. It requires more technical effort from our side. We offer that. Third important aspect, what we also do is we've also built a marketplace. Now, what that means is we as an organization, we are, 1,800 people. So we can't kind of build every single technology out there which is required for the insurance industry. So what we do is we bring in a lot of partners on our marketplace, which essentially uses our APIs to enhance their platforms or offerings, or we kind of bring this as a partnership model to our customers. So somebody who needs a chatbot, somebody who needs AI ML offering, somebody who needs a fraud capabilities, right? Somebody who needs any kind of application. So what we do is we bring these partners on the marketplace. So somebody who wants to adopt Insurmo as a platform, they can essentially just log in into our marketplace and look at what are the other applications or partners that we have, and they can just subscribe to those applications or APIs, and then kind of use all of that stuff as a Lego block to build their own ready systems or application which is required. So in a nutshell, SaaS, PaaS, and marketplace. These are three distinct offerings that we have, and based on the need, based on the appetite of the customer, we kind of offer these directly or through partners.
Fantastic. That makes it very clear for me, Rajat, that the different offerings, what different offerings basically About Tech has. But sometimes when you just look at the product, it is difficult for a person who is not from the same industry to imagine the kind of impact or the results that it generates. So, do you have some anecdotal stories or success stories of you working with the product and your client being able to deliver positive impact for their organization and also for their customers? That would really help us further understand how it pans out.
The way I put this most of the times is, when we are into customer discussions in terms of what the platform can do and where do we fit in. So we use a very common example that we are working with a startup, a seed stage company. Let's take a seed stage company startup, which is an insurtech, which is trying to do probably a digital motor insurance business, right? So we work with them and we offer them APIs so that they can build their use cases in say 2 to 3 weeks of time. So as small as this, as specific as this, and as rapid implementations as this. This is one end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum is, say, for example, a $6 billion insurer, which is doing $6 billion worth of GWP. They've built their full core system on InsureMO. So they've used InsureMO as a middleware, as a middle office, and they've created different applications for different product lines. So, for example, they've created an application, a PaaS, a policy admin system for motor line of business. They've created a policy admin system for their accident and health business, right? They're creating an application for their life business. And they are already connected with, say, maybe 300 plus channels. They've, within few months of launches, they've onboarded kind of more than 500 plus products. And the amount of GWP that they've written, as I've already mentioned, right? So the peak size that we've seen is 64 million policies issued in 24 hours. So from that spectrum, where we are talking of a complete startup which is trying to go live, right from one of the most mature companies in the world, they're trying to build the whole core system on us using all the application that we have. Everything that falls in between, is kind of we are catering to. So I don't see we leave any customer out there. And in between this, there are various segments. I'm talking of auto dealer manufacturers, car dealer brokers. I'm talking of e-commerce companies. I'm talking of mobile wallets. I'm talking of reward companies. I'm talking of traditional brokers as well. So everything here in between this spectrum, kind of we solve a problem somewhere or the other for that.
Awesome. In fact, Rajat, listening to you, I was anyways very excited about InsurTech this year, and I've become more excited about insurance. Anyways, you're deeper than me in the market, and you keep having conversations with the industry player, both globally and in India as well. So I just wanted to pick your brain on what are the key trends that you see that will shape the industry both globally and within India itself. And a connected question to that is, then what are your plans for India as a market at About Tech?
Key trends that we see, obviously, one few trends that you've already mentioned, connected insurance, IoT. From a
Correct.
tech perspective, these trends are already coming, and in some way or the other, various countries are doing. So, for example, if you look at Italy, so Italy probably is doing, 30 to 40% of the insurance companies are already doing some amount of connected insurance IoT for their motor side of things, right?
Hmm.
The car manufacturers, they're already experimenting with this kind of a stuff. If you come further into Singapore, right? So all the new digibanks which are coming in, so they're already exploring insurance is a very important use case for them to kind of bring embedded insurance as part of that whole ecosystem. So these are use case by use case trends that we are seeing, and these keeps emerging, these keeps changing. But one of the major trends that we personally believe, and I personally see myself, is the change will happen from a mindset perspective, so that insurance companies will see that one box or one system is not going to solve this problem for them. So however heavy the system that they bring, however advanced technology they can put in one box, that one box cannot solve the problem of they kind of becoming digital or they kind of becoming connected with outside world. Because the future trend is all about distribution. The future trend is all about internet companies. It's all about super apps. We've already seen that in Asia, how super apps are getting embedded as part of our daily lives. So they will need to become more open, and one system will not help them. So they will need multiple applications. They need a very solid data storage as a system. They'll need a very solid platform that can manage and talk from a data perspective, from an API perspective. So hence we see that as one of the major levers and one of those monoliths kind of breaking down into smaller applications and more connected from an ecosystem perspective. Globally, that is happening. We are seeing that trend, and our discussions right now, every single country in the world is already happening, right? So, right from islands like Fiji, Vanuatu, right to US, everywhere. This is the same discussion. People are looking for APIs. People are looking at a different way of adopting technology so that they can transform, they can be more connected. So this is a major trend globally, at least that we are seeing right now. Your question in terms of India is obviously no different. One, because India itself in the last few years has gone through a huge change, right? And with all the India stack getting matured, the amount of digitalization which has happened in India, the amount of bank accounts that we've seen has opened in India, the amount of smartphone access which is right now getting enabled in India. And with this whole COVID thing happening, I think we've seen a proof of concept of how people have adopted so rapidly and coming onto mobile phones and started transactions. That tells you that how India as an ecosystem is changing rapidly. We've seen the amount of internet transactions, or the banking transactions or the digital transactions have jumped 2x, 3x from last year. And that itself is a proof point of how even insurance, will be driven by a lot of these internet companies. And we are already seeing that. There are not enough numbers right now to kind of substantiate that. Companies like Flipkart, Cred, Amazon, Google, all of them have, done something or the other. But the fact is, we see that, this trend will actually take on speed. There will be a lot of steam behind that. And we'll see a lot of these traditional players, large insurance companies in India, they are already changing themselves. They're already looking at partnerships. They're already looking at sharing data. They're already looking at becoming more open. So hence, India is probably very exciting for us. And we've already worked with a lot of players, distinct players. We work with a state-owned company. We are working with one of the largest general insurance in India. We're working with one of the largest e-commerce companies in India. We are working with a few startups. We are working with a rewards company, again, very big brand in the internet industry. So everywhere we have some or the other use cases. And we have taken India Stack as a base of our connected insurance ecosystem as well in India. So we are very, very excited about India as a model. And what I personally believe is, whatever happens in China, the same thing can be replicated in India as well. There are volumes, there's a proof point which has already happened. We are seeing technology adoption being there. It's all about numbers now. It's all about adoption. That will eventually catch up. And India will surely be one of the top countries in the world which will be driving that amount of transactions in the insurance space as well, both in terms of innovation as well as in terms of volume.
Looks like that we have a lot of exciting times to look forward to. Rajat, I just wanted to check if our audience wanted to get in touch with you to learn more about eBowTech. What's the best way to do that?
Anybody can reach out to me personally. I'm on LinkedIn. You can reach out to me on my email ID, which is rajat.sharma@ebowtech.com, or you can visit insuremore.com, which is our portal for our pass, or you can reach out to ebowtech.com and you can just drop in a line. We respond very quickly to all our inbound queries. So generally within a couple of hours, you'll get a response back from us.
Excellent, Rajat. We'll add those details in the show notes. Thanks for joining us for this very interesting discussion on connected insurance and the future of digital insurance. Thanks for being on the show, Rajat.
Thank you so much, Elroy. It was a pleasure discussing you with. Same thing. Thanks, Hemant.
And that's it from India FinTech Diaries this week. Thank you for joining this Global FinTech Fest 2021 podcast series brought to you by IAMAI and India FinTech Diaries. If you haven't yet registered for the Global FinTech Festival, please go to globalfintechfest.com and register. We promise it's going to be an exciting and interesting event that covers all things that are Indian FinTech and more. Until next time, stay safe.